Hey guys, how y'all doing? Welcome to a Purer's Guide to Myth Gloves. Now, for this quest, you are going to want, I shouldn't even say quest, for this long series of quests, you're going to want a total of 41 cooking, 30 crafting, 30 ranging, 25 thieving, 20 firemaking, 10 fishing, and 5 fletching. Now, if you don't know how to train any of these skills up to that level, in the description there'll be links to the RuneScape Wiki's training page, so go ahead and check that if you need to learn how to get to a certain stat efficiently or cheaply or whatever. So the quest requirements for this are Cook's Assistant, Fishing Contest, Goblin Diplomacy, Gertrude's Cat, Shadow of the Storm, Demon Slayer, the Golem, and Big Chompy Bird Hunting. You'll see on the right side of the screen there are 8 little thumbnails. You can click on any of these thumbnails and they will take you to a guide that I've made for any of the quests if you don't have them done. And then once you get them done and then you have your stats, you can come back to this and we can proceed with getting you your Mithril gloves. Now, there's like 40 items that you need for this quest, so a lot of people buy quest kits. I just say go ahead and buy it all yourself. You'll save yourself a little bit of money, and in all honesty, the items aren't too hard to come by. But anyway, the items that you're going to need are ashes, a cocktail shaker, or just the fruit blast itself. Otherwise, a cocktail glass, a pineapple, 2 oranges, 2 lemons, a green man's ale, rotten tomato, eye of newt, and knife. Now if you're going to get a fruit blast, just keep in mind that you still do need an orange for the goblin part of the quest, so you still need that extra orange. You need about 1,000 coins total, probably a little bit less than that, but you know, it's 1,000 coins. Just take it anyway. You're going to want a bucket of milk, pot of flour, an egg, a bowl of water, gloves. I recommend getting ice gloves. I have a guide to it if you guys need to go get ice gloves, or if you just rather use your regular gloves. Doesn't matter to me, but link will be down below or on screen. 4 Asgardian ales, 2 loaves of bread, any dye that's not red, yellow, orange, or pink, spice, or gnome spice. Now for your dye, I would say just go pick up the purple dye that spawns south of the Arty Zoo. Now you also need a bucket of water, 1 fishing bait, charcoal, a raw cod, pestle and mortar, a fishbowl, a needle, 3 bronze wires, a cat, and 9 stews. For your cat, wily cats are going to be better than regular cats, cats will be better than kittens, and kittens will be better than lazy cats, and you cannot use an overgrown cat because it has to be able to catch rats. Also for the stews, you need at least 9, but I would bring 10 just to be safe. For the last things you're going to need are an axe, a few raw chompies, at least 1, you might burn it, probably need 2, an iron spit, which can be made from an iron bar and an anvil, logs that you have the fire making level to use, a tinderbox, a ball of wool, a pickaxe, ogre bellows, which you can find in Rance's house inside his chest, an ogre bow with ogre arrows to kill the jubbly, and silverlight. Now for items, I recommend just getting teleports to everywhere, man. Get an amulet of glory, get a ring of dueling, get a game's neck, get stamina potions, just be able to move around the map quickly. You'll definitely save yourself a lot of time in the long run. Maybe even get some extra coins so you can charter some ships too. Otherwise, you're going to want food, a weapon, weight-reducing gear, like I said, ice gloves are recommended, and I have a guide for that in the description, and a wily cat. If you have rat catchers done, use that wily cat. Otherwise, regular cat's going to do just fine, but don't use a kitten. Please don't use a kitten. If you don't have the required stats to do this quest yet, then get Gertrude's cat done first, get a kitten, and just periodically feed it and raise it. Because you're going to hate your life if you have to do this quest, or if you have to do Dave's sub-quest with a kitten. Like, you are actually going to want to kill yourself, so don't do that. So I guess first things first, we just start off with helping the cook. So for this quest you need 10 cooking and Cook's Assistant. If you need that quest done, there is a link on the screen to take you to that guide. For the items, you're going to want an eye of newt, green man's ale, rotten tomato, ashes, and a fruit blast that you've made yourself or have gotten from the dig site quest. I recommend bringing some energy potions, about 100 coins, a tinderbox, a ring of dueling, an amulet of glory, and ways to get to like Tree Gnome Stronghold and things like that. So this quest can be done by you just getting all the items and turning them into the cook. So if you are just going to go ahead and give the cook all the items, skip ahead like 5 or 6 minutes. Think of like 5.5 minutes or so and you'll be done with this quest and we can move on to other stuff. However, if you don't have this done and you don't have the fruit blast to give to him, watch this. I'll show you step by step how to get every single item that you need. Anyway, talk to the cook here in Lumbridge Castle and ask him if he has any more quests, and then pretty much dialogue doesn't matter. But at the end, make sure you hit yes, help the cook again, and he will give you this list of obscure items that he wants you to get. And he gives you 100 coins to cover costs. That should be enough, but you can bring 100 coins extra if you want. Anyway, a dirty blast, a glass of Greenman's Ale, a rotten tomato, and an eye of newt. So what I like to do is I like to immediately climb up the stairs and go to the far end over here in Lumbridge. You see like these four tinderboxes. Holy shit! These 4 logs that just chill up here at the top of the castle. Just light one, and then wait for it to burn out. And when it burns out, there will be ashes. I promise you guys, as per usual, by the end of this quest guide, I will be able to talk. Oh my fucking god. Anyway, go to Draenor Village now. We're gonna head over to Port Sarim and get you guys the Eye of Newt. So trade Betty, and you can buy 1 Eye of Newt. Pretty cheap. Like 1, 2 coins. Now grab your Ring of Dueling and go to Castle Wars. Or if you have the Watchtower teleport, you can teleport there as well. We're going to be going to the bar that's in Yanil. And there we will be getting our Greenman's Ale. The bar is on the southwest side. So go on in there and talk to the bartender. Ask him what's on the menu, and then say, I would like a Greenman's Ale. Costs 10 coins. Now before you leave, go all the way over to the far east side, a little bit north of the bank. A little bit northwest of the bank even. There will be a crate next to the cages where you can get that security random event. Anyway, right click this crate and hit buy, and there you can buy a rotten tomato for 1 coin. So once you have that, you're pretty much good to make your way to the Grand Tree area. The tree, no, it's not the Tree Gnome Stronghold, it's just the Gnome Stronghold. But I don't have gliders unlocked at this time, or trees, so I'm pretty much walking. So I teleport to Camelot. You could do other stuff like you could Games Neck and then walk down from the Barbarian Outpost area. There's a lot of different ways to get there. You could even teleport to Ardy and just walk north. Ah, the lovely sound of RuneScape music. I don't mind it though, to be honest with you. Makes this not as quiet, because it would be dead ass quiet if it wasn't like background filler. It's the majority of why I use it. It's one of those things like you would miss it if it was gone, and I can't be fucked to find like copyright free music. Anyway, once you finally make it to the Tree Gnome Stronghold, or Gnome Stronghold, whatever the fuck it's called, go to the 2nd floor and talk to Blurberry. Say, okay, I'll give it a go. Now he's gonna give you this book, so open it up and flip to page 10. That's the Fruit Blast page, by the way. It tells you need 1 pineapple, 1 orange, 1 lemon, and then a lemon slice. So trade this guy on the far east side, buy 1 knife, buy 1 cocktail glass, buy a pineapple, buy an orange, and buy 2 lemons. Now use your knife on the lemon and make lemon slices. And then mix the cocktail. Now, pour the mixed cocktail just by clicking on it, and you'll get your Fruit Blast. Now don't accidentally drink this. Don't accidentally drink this. Before you leave, put your ashes inside the Fruit Blast to get a Dirty Blast. Boom. Dirty Blast. And that's all your items, guys. Teleport back to Lumbridge, walk back to the cook, and there you go. Quest complete. Boom, 1 quest point, and you have to go through the door and do the cutscene before you get access to the Colornomancer chest to get your hard leather gloves. So just click on that door. It's about a 2.5 minute cutscene. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit longer than 2.5 minutes, but once you click on that door, the cutscene will proceed. And once the cutscene's all over, talk to the gypsy. And run through every single option before you leave the room. And like I said, it's kind of a long cutscene, long dialogue, things like that. But once you run through everything, get your items that you need to do the dwarf part, because we're going to be doing the dwarf sub-quest first. So for this quest, you are going to want to be able to kill level 13. You're also going to want to make sure you have the fishing contest done, and make sure, obviously, you have the first part of RFD done where you help the cook. You might want to get some ice gloves too. Anyway, if you need any of this stuff, there's annotations on screen right here. You can click on them and take you to separate guides, or you can check the description if you're like on your phone. And those will link, or there will be links in the description to those guides as well. So, the items you're going to want for this quest are about 400 coins, a bucket of milk, a pot of flour, an egg, a bowl of water, and like I said, I suggest getting ice gloves, but you can do this with regular gloves too. Link is still on screen if you want that. And recommendations, get some Falador teleports and Lumbridge teleports. You can use Camelot teleports. I will be. Energy and stamina potions are very helpful. Weight reducing gear like Graceful and Lightness boots are pretty helpful. And finally, last I'm going to say it, ice gloves, kind of helpful. Link on screen. Anyway, let's get right on with the quest. So you can start this quest like the rest of RFD by going in through the door in the cook's area, and now you're going to want to inspect the dwarf. So once you inspect him, the gypsy's going to tell you how to free him, but what we're going to do is we're going to walk back outside and talk to the cook and ask for tips on how to free the dwarf. So, protecting the dwarf. Said it was an easy one, it was with rock cakes. So now, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to go to that underground tunnel and talk to his dad, I guess. But before you advance, make sure you have gloves on. I'm going to bank my van braces here. I'm going to get my gloves out. Like I said, any kind of gloves will work. I'm just going to choose leather gloves, because I know those work for a fact. And now teleport up to Camelot or Falador. Now make your way to the underground, dare I say underground pass, people will get confused, but make your way to like the underground passage area for the White Wolf Mountain, the place that you unlocked from the fishing contest quest. And make your way to the center where the bar is. Now talk to an old dwarf. Now he says you're delusional, so you're going to have to do a little bit of persuasive measures. So just keep talking to him, and eventually he will mention something about going to the Rising Inn bar. After he says something about the Rising Inn bar, teleport to Falador, and speak to either Kaylee or Emily, and ask about dwarves and ales. The special recipe, you're going to have to buy it from her for 200 gold. This can be lower if you have a Ring of Karos A. So she'll say the recipe. Now all you need to do is put 4 gold coins in 4 different Asgardian ales. If you don't have Asgardian ales, that is the beer that they sell at the Falador pub, so you can totally go and buy one from there. Or 4, you need 4. So once you have your 4 Asgardian ales with 1 coin dropped in each of them, make your way back down to the old dwarf. We're about to get this dude shit-faced. So once you make your way back, just talk to him. Say, have a drink. Now talk to him again. Have another. And talk to him again. And one last time, talk to him again. And he blacks out. So after all that's over, just talk to him. He'll be really drunk. It's good for you. Now talk to him again. And he'll start talking about the cake once he sobers up. So you have to buy it from him for 100 coins. And then talk to him another time when you have the ingredients, which you should have brought with you anyway. And he'll start making the cake. It'll appear on the table, and when it appears on the table, your ingredients will disappear. Oop, just like that. So it's on the table now. Now if you have ice gloves on, equip them, and then you can just pick this up and it'll automatically be cooled. But if you don't have ice gloves, and I don't for this video, you're going to have to cool it down. So we need to go to the mountain range that's like in the free-to-play area. I forget what it's called. But the one that's like to the west of Edgeville. The Oracle's on there and there are Ice Fiends up there. The Ice Fiends are what we're interested in. Now you may have to use a melee weapon for this. I think you do, but I can't be 100% sure. Anyway. Go and kill the Ice Fiend with the rock cake in your inventory. It's level 13, shouldn't be too hard to kill. And as it dies, its final breath will cool the Dwarven Rock Cake. So once you have your cooled Dwarven Rock Cake, you may teleport back to Lumbridge, use the Dwarven Rock Cake on the dwarf, and that will be quest complete. Just like that. There it is. Use on the dwarf. Boom. Quest complete. Alright boys, let's move on to the Goblin subquest. You're going to want RFD Part 1 done where we freed the cook, and you're going to want Goblin Diplomacy. Both of the links to those guides can be found on the screen right now or in the description. So for the items, you're going to want bread, spice, either gnome spice or regular spice, fishing bait, a bucket of water, charcoal, and a knife, any dye except red, yellow, orange, or pink, and orange slices, which can be used by just using a knife on an orange. Now on the screen right here, you can pause it. This is how you can just get pretty much everything you need. Yeah, that's where everything is. That's all you could ever need. So, there, pause it. And then when you're ready, let's move on. So to start this quest, guys, you are going to want to go right in through the, whatever it's called, the dining room, the dining hall, and inspect the goblins. Gypsy Aerosol says she has absolutely no idea, so let's go back outside and talk to the cook. So talk to the cook. He says you're incredible. I know. Ask him about freeing the goblins. He pretty much has no idea. So fantastic. But we do know that their village is north of Varrock. Or I'm sorry, not north of Varrock, north of Falador. So let's teleport to Falador with all of our stuff in our inventory and make our way up there. Now I'm going to be using purple dye for this just because it's easy to obtain. There's a spawn like south of Artie Zoo. So if you guys are looking for for dyes, I think that might be the easiest one to get. Anyway, talk to the goblins. Ask them what their favorite food is, and then say for market research. They say, go away human, we are busy. Once they say that, go down this little area right here, climb down the trap door thing, and talk to the goblin cook. And then say that you need his help. He'll ask you to get some items for him. So just talk to him again because you already have the items in your inventory. And this cutscene will start. Then you find out his name is Mudknuckles. So talk to him again. And say, I need your help. He's going to teach you how to make the slop of compromise. He says he needs juicy maggots, soggy bread, and orange slices that aren't orange. So, use your gnome spice or regular spice on the spicy maggots, or on the fishing bait to get spicy maggots. Use your bucket of water on the bread to get soggy bread, and then use your purple dye on the orange slices to get dyed orange or whatever. So if you need the orange slices, remember just use your knife on an orange and you can cut it into slices. Once you have all this stuff, talk to Mud Knuckles again and give them to him, and he will make the Slop of Compromise. So teleport back to Lumbridge when that's all said and done, and you can make your way back on into the dining hall. That's pretty much it, guys. That's basically quest complete. Almost messed up there. Okay, so use your Slop of Compromise on either one of the generals, and boop, quest complete. Alright, so that was pretty easy. Let's go ahead and move on to one of the harder ones, freeing Pirate Pete. So you need 31 cooking and the ability to defeat 5 level 30s. Also make sure you have part 1 of this quest done. Link was on the screen. Items you're going to need are raw cod, pestle and mortar, bread, a fishbowl, a needle, and 3 bronze wires. I recommend you buy the fishbowl from the GE. A higher cooking level is actually very advantageous. You're going to want coins to charter a ship or the Artie Cloak 1, and then a melee weapon and things like that. You can go back and pause that if you need to. Otherwise, let's move right on. Go and inspect Pirate Pete. So she says you need to go and get fish cakes. Now, lucky for you, guess who knows a lot about fish cakes? Ah, the cook that's right outside. So head on outside and talk to the cook. Now ask him every single one, run through all these options. Ask him how to get ground cod, how to get ground kelp, how to get ground giant crab meat, then breadcrumbs, and then what do I do with all of it? And then say thanks. So before we head on out, use your knife on the bread and you'll get breadcrumbs, and use your pestle and mortar on the cod and you will get ground cod. Alright, so we're about to go underwater. Now you need to make sure you stay under 27 kilograms this entire time and make your way to Port Khazard, however you wish to do that. I'm going to teleport to Draenor and then charter a ship. If you have Artie Cloak 1, you can just teleport. Otherwise, I'm not really sure what would be the fastest method there. But I'm going to switch out into a little bit better gear just because there's stuff in there. I'm going to bring a Ring of Life, because if you die down there, there's like a 100% chance you are not going to get back in time. Actually, I'm not sure if it's instance. I don't think it's instance, but I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't bring stuff you think you might be able to die down there with. If you're a low level, of course. If you're a high level, you should not be able to die at all. Anyway, if you're taking my route, we're going to charter right here and go to Port Khazard. Jesus, I got a lot of stuff that I can charter to. Also, it's good to note that you cannot have headgear on or a cape. Alright, so if you guys look at my inventory, I'm missing something. I'm missing the fucking needle. Do not miss the needle. Bring the needle. Bring your 3 bronze wires and a needle with you on this part. I had to go back up and get it. Alright? So, like I said, make sure before you go underwater, you have your fishbowl, your 3 bronze wires, and your needle. Don't forget it. You'll cry like me, because it is a big pain in the ass to come back up and then go back down. So once you have the gear that you think you're going to want, I'm bringing melee gear. I don't know if you can range underwater. I feel like it won't let you, but I brought melee stuff anyway. If someone wants to prove me wrong in the comments, man, please go ahead, and I'll thumbs you up. Anyway. He gets the fishbowl and stuff sorted out. Now you can wear it. Just like that. And talk to him about Recipe for Disaster. Basically, the way that you got all this stuff, though, is just by talking to him. So just keep talking to Murphy with your fishbowl and your inventory and stuff like that. Like I said, make sure you have your needle with you. Make sure you have your needle and your 3 bronze wires. It's not in my inventory, so make sure you have it. And then all of a sudden you'll be swimming. You can go back up at any time by clicking on the anchor, but you shouldn't have to. Now, I highly recommend you guys get more than just one of each ingredient, because there is a chance that you can burn it, especially if you have lower level stuff. I recommend getting probably 3 of each. It takes a lot less time to get 3 of each down here than it does to get one and then burn it and then come back down. So, I only picked 2 kelp there, but when I end up leaving, I picked the 3rd one. So make your way over to the cage and talk to Nung, I think is his name? Yeah, Nung. They're the Mogres. Talk to him about getting giant crab meat. He says he wants you to get mudskipper skins for him. So make your way over to the west side of this area. You'll see a bunch of red dots on the map where you need to be. Now when you get over here, the rocks on the ground, you're going to need to pick up 5 of them. You'll need to do this each time you come into the water area, if you ever leave. What I mean by that is that if for whatever reason you go back to land, you need to pick up 5 more rocks each time, or otherwise you can't enter areas like the mudskipper place or the crab area. So once you pick up 5 rocks, you can confirm it by your chat. Then you can enter the underwater cavern passage. And you'll lay enough down to land. So just go ahead and kill 5 mudskippers. They're pretty easy to kill, but if you have prayer or whatever, you can go ahead and pray them off. And as you can see, they don't hit very hard. I'm just going to fast forward through this. Get 5 skins. There should be a needle in your inventory. I'm going to say it like 100 times. Also, you could teleport out if you're standing, so that's definitely a lot faster if you ever need to leave, as opposed to going through all the cutscenes and stuff. So once you have your 5 mudskipper skins, head right on out. Oh, look at that one empty inventory spot. That could have filled a needle right there, man. Oh wait, no it can't. You have to have yourself unequipped in order to swim. So my inventory's filling up quick, guys. But it'll be fine though, because once I give them the mudskipper skins, then my inventory will empty back up again. So with all 5 of your mudskipper skins, go talk to Nung again. Now he says he wants bronze wire and a needle. So as you guys can see, I forgot to bring my needle. However, I'm going to skip forward, and boom. You'll give him the 3 bronze wires and the needle, and then you can continue through the gate. You'll get stopped by a Mogre guard, but just say that Nung says you can go through, and then you'll be able to walk right on through. So, since you have 5 rocks in your pocket, you'll be able to walk on the ground again. Basically, just equip your stuff and go to town. I would get about 3 crabs. This is also how you get the crab claws and the crab helmets. So if you're bored and want neat little cosmetics, you can do this. Now the only bad thing is if you do end up burning this, you're going to have to get the breadcrumbs and the ground cod again as well. But since you can buy this from the Grand Exchange, it's not too bad. Anyway, once you get a couple, head back up to the surface. You can teleport out if you're standing. So if you are satisfied with how many pieces of kelp and crab meat you have, you can just go back into the crab area where you're standing and then like teleport to Lumberch from there. However, on second glance, I think the reason I didn't do that was because I wanted to pick up 1 more kelp on the off chance I burned a fish cake or 2. And if you don't have teleport runes, you can just click this anchor right here to climb back up too. and then you're back on the ship. So make your way to Lumbridge however you see fit. I'm gonna do the home port, cause we're gonna save that money. And Laurens are expensive as fuck, man. You see all these people doing fishing trawler? God damn. I didn't realize it was that active. Apparently it is. So, now you need to ground up the kelp and the crab meat. To do that, just use your pestle and mortar on stuff. Use your pestle and mortar on the kelp and boom. And now just cross your fingers and hope you don't burn it. So once you have all these items, talk to the cook again and say, what do I do with everything? And now apparently he knows what to do. So ask him about the pirate. Yep. And once you do that, then you'll learn how to make it. So just use everything on each other and then boom. Like I said, if you burn it, you're going to want to get more breadcrumbs and raw cod back. Or ground cod even. But it didn't. I cooked mine on the first try, which is awesome. So if you cook it on the first try, then you can drop everything. Now be very careful, don't eat it. When you're giving it to the other person, don't eat it. Make sure you right-click it. You'll be pissed if you eat it. Because then karma will come and be a bitch, and then you'll end up using, or try to cook it next time, and they'll end up burning. And you'll be really mad. Anyway. Use the cooked fish cakes on Pirate Pete, and that is quest complete. Alright boys, let's move right on along to Evil Dave, so get out your 10 stews and get your cat. If you need stews, go to Camelot Bar and buy some. Otherwise, let's move right along. Now, these are the quests you're going to need. You're going to need 25 cooking, and then Gertrude's cat and Shadow of the Storm. All those pictures on the screen actually link back to the quests, so you can use those, or check the description for links. You need 10 stews, and a cat, or a wily cat. You can use a kitten, and you can use a lazy cat, but I really think you shouldn't do that, because you will waste your time. You might as well just get a cat and do a different part of this quest, or do something else, or I'm sorry, get a kitten and do something else until it becomes a cat, and then work from there. Don't waste your time. Now when you're ready to start the quest, just click on Evil Dave, and the gypsy will say that Evil Dave lives with his mom. In the basement of his mom's house, actually. So, talk to the cook and ask about protecting Evil Dave. I think it's just a good habit to get into. Whether or not you need to do this is beyond me, but you know, I like doing it. Anyway, when you think you're good to go, I'm going to teleport to Camelot first. Now, if you already have the stews, you don't need to do this, but I want to show you guys where you can get stews if you're like an Iron Man or whatever. You're going to need 10 stews, okay? So, I'm going to get a little bit more than 10 just because at the time I was recording this I didn't know that I only needed 10. But I'm telling you now, you guys, you only need 10. So talk to the bartender in the Sears bar and say, what do you have? Ask for some stew. Now repeat this process until you have 10 stews. It'll cost you 200 coins. And once you think you have enough stew, go and make your way to Edgeville. I'm going to go ahead and take a guess and say 20 stews is probably enough. Now I have a glory, so I'm just going to glory to Edgeville. And you're going to want some inventory space, though. You're going to want about 8 inventory spaces. And you don't need an amulet of cat speak, however I'm going to wear mine, because fashionscape. So this is where Evil Dave lives, right in this house right here. So talk to Doris, and ask if Dave can come out to play. No, I'm kidding, it doesn't matter what you say, but go down to the basement after you talk to her, and talk to Evil Dave. Now say, what did you eat at the secret council meeting? Now say, you've got to tell me because the magic requires it. He says the stew he had tasted really evil, and that he knows the recipe from his mom. So go back upstairs and talk to her, ask her how she gets the spices, and she says you get them from hell rats. So once you've talked to her and she says that the spices are from hell rats, you can go down here and start catching them. If you're catching these and they're not dropping spices, go talk to Doris and then that'll fix your problem. Anyway, this process is pretty repetitive. You're just going to want to interact with your cat, hit chase, and it'll try to catch rats. And when it catches one, on its dead body will be spices of a certain sort, and ashes. Now you're going to want 6 doses of each color. There are 4 colors: brown, yellow, red, and orange. So just kill a whole bunch. I'm going to speed through this though. So get at least 6 doses of all 4 spices, and make sure you also have your 10 stews. And once you get to that point, we can move right along. Now the second part, I'm going to forewarn you, is going to be a little bit trickier, or at least to explain, but I think you guys will get it. I think I've figured out how to explain this and make it not super hard to understand. But we'll see. So once you get all 6 spices, or at least 6 of every spice, 6 doses even, we're ready to move on. So step 1, add 1 dose of spice to a stew, and then use it on Dave, and he'll tell you if you have the correct amount or not. If you don't, use 2 of that same, or use 2 doses of that same spice, and then try again. And if he says it's wrong, that means it automatically has to be 3, because there cannot be more than 3 spices per stew. Once you figure out the correct amount, move on to the next color, and do it like that. So I'm going to show you guys, right? I just put 1 thing of red spice into a stew. I'm going to use it on Dave. He says all the spices are wrong. Okay, so 1 dose of red is wrong. So I'm going to use 2 doses of red. And I'm going to use it on Dave. He says I've got the correct amount of 1 spice, but the others are wrong. Okay, that means it is 2 red. Now I'm going to write down, in my chat box, I'm going to write down 2 red, just because that'll help me remember it. So 2 red. Now use a different color. I'm going to use brown next. Same pattern. Use 1 brown, use it on Dave. Alright, it says I've got the amount of 1 spice right. That means it is 1 brown. So just like I did with the red, I'm going to type in 1 brown. Now I'm going to use 1 orange spice on the stew. I'm going to use it on Dave. Dave says all the spices are wrong. Alright, let's try and do 2 spices, or 2 doses of orange, and use it on Dave. He says that's right, but the others are wrong. Alright, cool. So I'm going to write down 2 orange. Now, for whatever reason, you do 2 orange or whatever and it's not right, that means it is 3. You don't need to test 3, it's a waste of spice. However, we're going to follow the same pattern for yellow. And apparently it was 1 yellow dose, and that was fine too. So I think that that's pretty, easy. Once you figure out all of these, add them all to the same stew. Like I said, having them written out definitely makes this process a lot easier. Especially if you're like me and you just have like a terrible memory. Once you have everything added correctly, then you can use it on Dave. He won't drink it all. Or I guess eat. Yep, use it on him, and if it's right, he said it's totally evil. It's exactly how I remember it. So, like I said, I think I explained that pretty well. Use 1 spice on a stew and test it. Use 2 spices on a stew and test it. Use 3 spices, or no, you don't need to ever use 3 spices. If 1 spice is wrong and 2 spices is wrong, you know it's 3. Move on. So you should never need more than 6 spices. But yeah, there you go, guys. Once you have the spicy stew, make sure you don't accidentally drink it. Use it on Dave. Make sure you right-click use. He goes, whoa, what happened? And you freed him. And that's quest complete, guys. Or at least sub-quest complete. Evil Dave has been freed, 1 quest point, and 7,000 cooking experience, and you now get a Hellcat, which will randomly transform, catching hell rats, it'll randomly become a Hellcat. Last but not least, let's do the Ogre. So for this quest, you're going to want 41 cooking, 20 fire making, big chompy bird hunting done, and RFD part 1 complete. Both of those pictures on the screen right now are actually links to other guides. You can also check the description for links to those guides as well. Now for items, you're going to want any axe, a few raw chompies, any logs, a tinderbox, pickaxe, a ball of wool, ogre bellows, an iron spit, and an ogre bow with ogre arrows or brutal arrows. I suggest you bring an Amulet of Glory, Folded Pills, Teleport, Energy, and Stamina Potions. You can make an Iron Spit from iron bars. The Ogre Bells can be found in Rance's chest, and I suggest bringing more than 1 raw Chompy because you can burn it when you're making it later on in this quest, and if you do that, it will piss you off, and you will have to go all the way back to Felded Hills from Karamja. So just get multiple Chompies. We'll talk about this a little bit later. When you're ready to start the quest, go inside the dining room hall and click on Scratch. And you'll start talking. Say, yeah, sure I can get Jubbly Chompy. Can't believe I waited until 198 quest points to do this. That is ridiculous. Anyway. This is actually my Myth Gloves quest. Woo! Might be your Myth Gloves quest, too. So, she says speak to Rance, who's in Felded Hills. Now, like I said, out of good habit, I like talking to the cook. Oh, I bet you I didn't talk to the cook this time. Wow! Just went against my word. Oh, the reason I'm going down here is because I want to make sure I have gloves on. Right? Is that what I'm doing? No, it's not! No, that's a different quest, guys. I'm sorry. That's for the dwarf. I'm getting my quest mixed up. I went down here and got some Felded Hills teleports, just to speed up my process a little bit more. And Felded Hills teleport. So, this is a nice quick way to get down here. All the Chompy bots. So make your way up to Rance. And talk to him. Sorry, I was talking to some random guy. I had to do a little cut. Anyway, he says you say you need a free scratch, you need his help, and talk about Jubblies. Say what's involved. Say what do I get in return, and then say okay, I'll do it. So he wants you to go meet him over on the peninsula. Like you can see this guy doing the Myth Gloves quest. He's a little bit ahead of me. Anyway, talk to Rance over here. Say, I guess this is the watery place. And then a little bit of a cutscene will occur. Look at that brute force. That might be the best cutscene. The most realistic looking one I think I've ever seen on this game. Anyway, use your axe on the old tree, and you'll cut off the roots. Now use it again on the old tree, and you'll carve it into a canoe. And you only need to do it twice. So, now talk to him and say, alright, boat's ready, how do I get Jubbly? And you're gonna watch him fire this arrow, this stabby. You're gonna launch that motherfucker all the way to Karamja. He said, okay, use person, go find a stabber. Alright, bitch, if you insist. So the stabber's on Karamja. I would talk to him again, say, okay, now tell me how to get the Jubbly, just to make sure that you're doing all this stuff step by step. Probably don't need to. But I talked to him like multiple times just to make sure that I don't accidentally forget something. And then once you get that little dialogue that pops up, like I said, I'm just paranoid and I always check my stuff like 10 times. So there. If your quest log says that, then you're good to go. Now, I would catch a few Chompies. If you guys don't remember how to catch Chompies, there is an annotation on the screen right now that'll take you to a guide that'll show you how to catch Chompies. Otherwise, make sure you bring at least 2. I know this can be really time consuming, especially if you're trying to catch over here in Felded Hills. In comparison to catching it in whatever it's called, the Castle Wars area, this is really slow. But I promise you, if you get 2 raw Chompies, or maybe even 3, your life will just be considerably nicer if you burn one, because you'll have 2. So, anyway, once you have a couple raw Chompies, teleport to Karamja or Brimhaven, and make sure you have your iron bar, or your iron spit that you've made from your iron bar with you. You're also going to want logs and a tinderbox. So make your way all the way over to the Karamja beach. It'll be on, what is that? The west side of the beach? Yeah. So you'll see a little palm tree with an arrow sticking out of it. Just follow the coast until you find it. Now, use your iron spit on a raw Chompy. And make a fire. Tinderbox and logs works pretty well for making fires. Now use your skewered Chompy, and if you cook it, a cutscene will start. If you burn it, just try it again with the other Chompy. Anyway, they come on over. They'll ask if you want to lift, just talk to them again. Say yes. I would love to get a ride back. And you'll be back in Felda Pills. So once you get back, talk to Rance. Say, alright, how do I get Jubbly? Alright. He says, get the Fatsy Toad. Like I said, I like talking to him twice just to make sure. So basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fill up your Ogre Bellows. And you're going to want to catch a toad like normal. And then use your Ogre Bellows on the toad again. But make sure you have a rock and a ball of wool in your inventory when you do so. So let's go get that toad first. Use your Ogre Bellows on, not the dead tree, but the swamp bubbles even. And then once you have them full, use it on a swamp toad. Now make your way back over to where Rance's house is, I guess you want to call it. And a little bit to the northeast of his house, he has like a rocky area up here. Use your pickaxe that you brought and mine one rock. Now with the rock in your inventory, the ball of wool in your inventory, and the toad in your inventory, use your Ogre Bellow on the toad. And you'll fill it with gas. And it'll automatically put the rock and the ball of wool on there. So now drop it and wait for the Jubbly to spawn. If the Jubbly does not spawn, I believe you get your rock and your string back. You'll just have to go and get the toad again. Anyway, just wait. I'm using brutal ogre arrows, by the way, guys, so my shit's strong as fuck. That's just from the Zogre quest. You can use regular ogre arrows. It only has like, what, 20 health? I don't know, I don't use OS Buddy. Maybe 22 health, or something. Anyway, once it dies, just walk over and pluck it just like you would a Chompy. And you'll get the Jubbly. Now, it is possible to burn the Jubbly, so if that happens, bad luck, try again. But you're going to want to cook it on Rance's spit roast. And boom. Now you can accidentally eat it too, don't eat it. Be very careful how you click it. Make your way back to Lumberage Zone, the quest is done. Or at least this sub-quest is. And if you're like me, this was the last thing you needed for Mithril Gloves, and you finally got your Mithril Gloves. Woo! So like I said, be careful, don't eat it. Make your way over here, go through the dining hall again, and all the way at the head of the table. Use the cooked Jubbly on the boy. Boom, quest complete. And just like that, boys, that is every single sub-quest done you need for Myth Gloves at 1 defense. So you can get your Myth Gloves from the chest downstairs. It's a good day, man. It's a good day to finally have best in slot gloves. Now a little bit about these gloves. These are best in slot for melee and mage, not for range. If you have black d'hide, vambraces, wear them because they give you better range bonus. But if you're meleeing and if you're maging, and if you don't want to do a glove switch, then Myth Gloves all the way. You also get a lot of access to the food parts of this chest, which are kind of helpful for later quests, otherwise not really too necessary. You can like buy some of the stuff here and sell it in the Grand Exchange to make a little bit of money too. But right here, boys, your wonderful, wonderful, hard-earned Mithril Gloves. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the guide. If you found it helpful or useful or anything or awesome, give it a like, man. It took a lot of time to make this, and it would I'd really appreciate it. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.